to Hordle Cliffs, which is a mile or two outside the western entrance to the Solent. Tonight, just a pleasure session with the hope of getting a small-eyed ray. In the summer, this area is well known for its sole. And yeah, we could get the usual dogfish, strap conger, very rare chance of a turbot, but really the target is a small-eyed ray. I've got 2 hook loop rigs with size 1/0 hooks. I'm not going to go too big. I'm only using sand eel on there at the moment. I do have some sardines to try out as well. It was easy just to get myself started by putting sand eel on each hook. I'm fishing with 2 rods, which is very unusual for me, because obviously with my match fishing I'm only allowed to use 1. And 2 rods it's hard work, because I like to keep my baits fresh. So I really want to be changing the baits every 20 minutes. So with 2 rods, that means I'm changing baits. Yeah, I'm replacing the bait every 10 minutes, which is hard work. Not really what I want on a pleasure session. So I might go down to 1 rod and fish 1 rod well rather than fish 2 rods badly. Oh. So here's one of the strap congers I mentioned. First cast, at least it's not a blank. Or I don't know. So the weather's really nice tonight. Could have guessed that because there's not a match on. But it means I can sit you outside for the first time in a while, and I can sit under the shelter. It's always been so bad in some of my matches, I had to have you in the shelter and me outside.
So I'm down here tonight with Jim from Last Cast Saloon, and he won the Last Cast Saloon League last year, pipping me in second place. And would you know it, first cast, he gets the target species. But I suppose at least I know they're out there.
So that's a anchovy and squid wrap on the bottom hook, and just a single sand eel on the top hook. So I've got 3 rigs on the go, 2 are in the water. So every time I reel in, I bait up the spare rig, put that on the rod rest, and then when I reel in, this goes straight back out, and the whole process starts again. So tonight I've got my usual Century Tip Tornado Super Match, which is the one that's got very little bend in it. And then I've bought an old Coniflex Vampire, which is probably from about the year 2000. and that's got a glass tip, which is why it's bending over more. But the thing I've noticed most is just how much more effective the reflective tape is on the Coniflex. So I might have to get myself some new tape for the Century. It's a really nice night. I don't think you can see the stars, but it's a clear night. It's not too cold. Not much fish action at the moment though. I've had that one little strap conger, and Jim's had a dogfish and that little small-eyed ray. But it is a really nice night. There's still quite a bit of swell. And you can see that it's a very steep beach here, in two sort of tiers. So we've camped on the top because we think that the waves are going to soon come over that bottom ridge. But it does mean I'm quite a bit from the water and quite high up. Well, it might not be very big, but it's mission accomplished. It's what we came for. That's three ray I've had in the last week. So that's mission accomplished for me. But yeah, it's not very big, is it? What's that? 27 centimetres across the wings. That wouldn't give me very many points. But it's a species I haven't had yet this year, and it's what we did come here for. So as that target achieved for both of us, the only thing left is to try to get a bigger one. So I've doubled up my sand eel bait, so the smaller bait is 2 sand eels now. And then on the pilchard bait, I didn't really want to make the pilchard bigger, but I've put a bigger piece of squid on it. So the bait's a little bit bigger, but it's also more rugged, which should last a bit longer, because I am leaving the baits out longer than I normally do. But it does feel like you can relax a bit when you've hit your target, even though it's a little one. So anything else now is a bonus. Well, unfortunately, only a dogfish. Let's quite a good sized dogfish. Well, it's still very slow, but at least target achieved for both me and Jim. Jim's had a few dogfish, I've had just one dogfish. But now target's achieved, you can sort of relax, and I've upped the size of my baits. My smallest bait now is 2 sand eels wrapped together, and then I've made my pilchard bait bigger by putting a larger bit of squid on it. I don't want to go too big with the pilchard itself. The little small-eyed I had was on the pilchard, the dogfish was on sand eel, and the strap conger was on sand eel. So I've been doing this YouTube thing now for 10 weeks. I think it's going okay. I've now had 1,000 hours of views, but I could do with more feedback. If anyone wants to give me feedback, tell me what they'd like to see, what I'm doing wrong, I'm open to hearing anything. It really is a nice night tonight. I know you can sort of hear the waves rolling in, but there's very little wind. I had a little bit of weed for a while, but that seems to have gone. There's not many fish there, but I've had 3 and 3 different species. It's nice when you travel to somewhere you've never fished before with a particular species in mind and you actually get it. Yeah, I know it's tiny. So I know Dylan from Frugal Outdoors was discussing the other day about the pros and cons of fishing with 1 rod or 2. I would definitely conclude that 3 is too many. Anyone that fishes with 3 rods, I think you're wasting an awful lot of fishing time. With 2 rods, yeah, it does. Does it give you more baits in the water? I'm not sure it gives you more effective baits in the water, because tonight I've been leaving my baits out for half an hour and I think they're washed out. The bites I've been having have tended to be on the rod that I've only just recently cast out when the bait's only been in the water sort of 10 minutes or so. I could definitely have fished harder with the 1 rod. I think sometimes 2 rods can give you those options. Perhaps you're fishing for 2 different species, perhaps you've got one at distance, one close in. But I could definitely have fished harder with 1 rod than I have tonight with the 2. And I think a lot of the time my rod's out and the bait's past it, the bait's washed out. But I just can't be bringing in each rod every 20 minutes and rebaiting. It's just too much hard work. Well, there's another good-sized dogfish, if there is such a thing as a good-sized dogfish. I think we're only going to stay another sort of half hour. It's 1:15. I did just lose a better fish. I wouldn't say a really good fish, but better than anything else we've had. Apparently there's a bank about sort of 70, 80 yards out, and Jim had a similar problem earlier. We had a fish and lost it getting it over the bank. I think that's what happened to me. But still getting fish. So that's the last cast out there now. I'll bring you back if I get anything else decent. But it's been a pleasant night. It's been really nice weather for a change. I've had 2 dogfish, strap conger, whiting, and that little small-eyed ray, which was the target. So, not the greatest, but I've certainly had worse nights. So, thanks for joining me. And if I don't get anything else in the next 20 minutes, see you next time.